Over to Dr. Vishal. Vishal, you need to unmute yourself, please.
Am I audible?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, Chitra Madam, Srinivas, and Team ARC for having me here. And I'll be presenting my rebuttal that ICGA is not really required in diagnosing wet AMD. And thank you, Darius, for enlightening all of us on the pharmacokinetics of FFA and ICG. I really appreciate that. But I think basically that no rocket science is required, to understand the fact that in the present scenario, ICG angiography is not required to diagnose wet AMD or its extended spectrum in the age of multimodal imaging. And I'll, pass you through some representative case, which will, make my message clear. So case 161-year-old female, bilateral pseudophakia, left eye diminution of vision and metamorphosis over the past 2 weeks. And this is a classical case of type 2 CNVM. And this is the ICG and the FFA. And as you can see in the later phases, ICG still has just a small spot of hypersenescence, whereas the FFA is now trying, is now beginning to show the whole margins of the membrane. And in the late phases, you can see the membrane in all its glory on the FFA, whereas ICG is still inconclusive at this stage. Case 2, 70-year-old female, male, bilateral pseudophakia, again left eye diminution of vision for the past 3 weeks. You can see stippled hyperfluorescence on the FFA and not much information on the ICG in the same frame. And as you go across the frames and down the line, you can see the beginning of the leakage and expanding the leakage on the angiogram, and still no conclusive lesion on the ICG. And further strengthening the point, in the late stages also, you can see the membrane clearly on the FFA, but not on the ICG. And the OCTA confirmed a membrane in the outer retina and the choriocapillaris layer on the OCT angiography. Case 3, 52-year-old female, bilateral phakia, clear lens, diminution of vision in the right eye for the past 3 weeks. As you can see in the image, there was a large serosanguinous PED, a lot of exudation, and on the OCT-B scan, there was a thumb-like PED, and you can see the RPE duplication and a lot of intraretinal fluid with hyperreflective foci. And a clinical diagnosis of IPCV was made, although we did a FFA and ICG in this case also, hoping to to look out for some polyps in the first few minutes. But to our dismay, we could not find because of the overlying large PED filled with fluid. And in this case, though, both FFA and ICG were not very helpful in the diagnosis. Although the treatment was intravitreal aflibercept, which was given to the patient, and the patient responded fine. Case 4 is a 60-year-old female, bilateral pseudophakia and left eye diminution of vision for the past 3 weeks. You can see a lot of exudation superior to the fovea, a large PED inferior to the exudation, and this is a thumb-like PED with again intraretinal and subretinal fluid with duplication of the RPE. And here in this this case was presented in the center where we had that fundus ICG, not the SLO based ICG, and you can see the FFA and you can see the ICG, and this fundus based ICG you cannot make out the details as compared to the laser the CSSLO ICG, in which the details are very clear. And the thing only you get is that small spot of hypersenescence, not exactly a hot spot, even in the late stages of the ICG. But on the OCT angiography, we could clearly see a small BVN along with a polyp, and the patient was diagnosed with IPCV and was injected with intravitreal aflibercept. Last case is a 72-year-old female, bilateral pseudophakia, presented with right eye diminution of vision. As you can see, hyperreflective spots. There was an intraretinal hemorrhage on the FFA. We could see anastomosis. We did not do ICG in this patient. We considered it to be a case of RAP, and you can see the large PED, and the patient had reticular pseudotruncence. So the point here is ICG angiography historically was introduced in 1970, and before 90 there were no high definition cameras to know the utility. But after that time, it paved the way to define RAP and IPCV and to define the vascular patterns on ICG. And because at that time, these CNV, especially the occult CNVs, juxtafoveal, extrafoveal, RAP, IPCV, were amenable to laser photocoagulation, and the subfoveal CNVMs to PTT. And the indications are CNVM, PEDs, PCV, RAP, CSR, intraocular tumors like choroidal hemangioma. But the classification of CNV based on its angiographic characteristics were regarded important in the past. And the treatment fundamentally at that point of time was thermal ablation. But as soon as the OCT arrived and the use of anti-VEGFs was there, and which has taken as the first line of treatment in the diagnosis, follow-up, and the prognosis of these patients, I think ICG is redundant as of now. The recent introduction of OCT angiography has further, improved our understanding as we are, gaining experience in interpreting OCT images and reduce the need for ICG and even FFA for that matter, and its associated side effects of any invasive diagnostic procedures. Coming to the economics, which is a very important point, ICG is only useful to my mind if it is a SLO-based ICG, because the images are far superior to the fundus-based ICG machines, more so in patients with media haze. But the caveat here is the cost increases around 4 times, prohibiting its widespread use. So to conclude, ICG angiography still remains necessary in some indications, like IPCV and RAP. But the diagnosis and management in most cases of wet AMD, ICG may serve as an adjunct. And little role of ICG angiography for deciding the treatment protocol as of now, because now the only treatment protocol we are left with is anti-VEGF agents. Even the dye for PDT is not available. And an important point of consideration, the return on investment is abysmally low for a SLO-based ICG, and it is a bad idea for standalone practices. Of course, it should be a part of imaging protocol in institutional centers. Therefore, my conclusion is ICG angiography is not really required in the diagnosis of wet AMD in the present scenario. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Chitra madam. To unmute yourself, please.
That was a very nice debate, but let's have our moderator take on.
Lalit sir, I just wanted, I think both of them nicely explained.
Both Vishal and Drais are smart people. Both of them chose cases which, suit their title of presentation. And Drais is smarter than Vishal because he chose a patient of supposedly tumor where he glorified by saying that it was going for enucleation. And ultimately it turned out to be peripheral variant of, IPCV. So, and Vishal chose first 2 cases of ARMD where, and he deliberately showed third patient where you see analog based ICG. You see, as far as I am concerned, analog based ICG, nobody should be talking about because that is absolutely down. That should not be used. Only ICG is confocal, and we talk of that only. And as far as economics, they should not be part of this scientific part. Economics is okay. Economics, Vishal was trying to deliberate 4th point by economics the issue that is not there. So what I think is, you see, in a routine management, you see, Apurva presented 9 points of, where Octa and can give a lead for IPCV. So by and large, majority patients of IPCV, even IPCV, in ARMD, I think most of us do not do ICG at all. Majority do not practically do, although theoretically we should be doing. So only in patients of IPCV where you are contemplating PDT as the modality, where you want to pick up polyp and BNV's branch vascular network along with it, and you want to calculate the size of the LSS or the GLD, their ICG is definitely required. Otherwise, the role of ICG or even angiography is decreasing with the advent of OCT and Octa. So that is my, comment.
So you agree with me?
Partly.
Can I add one point to
the reason is most of the practice can do without ICG, but once you are treating IPCV and definitely diagnosing IPCV, that polyp what you see or speculate on Octa, till the time you see on ICG-A, you will not feel happy and satisfied to do PDT.
So there is no dye available right now.
Yeah, that's okay. That does not mean that we don't do it.
We are running short of time, so I'm going to move on.
But wonderful
discussion.
Fine.
Wonderful
Fine.
talks.